So let's say that I want to be able to apply a threshold to a whole slide image in QuPath. So here, it's one that's about 26 gigabytes, and identify the proportion of a region which is stained positive. So in this case, a proportion of the region that is brown. I can do that again by setting a threshold within QuPath. It's remembered my settings from before, which are very far from what I would like. So I'm going to switch to, I want to threshold the dab channel after stain separation, and I will set a threshold value of something that is quite low. What I have done here is I have wrongly said that I want everything below the threshold to be classed as shimmer and everything above as unclassified, but if I double click on that, it can switch it, because I made that mistake way too often to want to have to adjust it every time here. So double clicking here will switch the order of the thresholds. And so if you'll indulge me and let me say that everything above the threshold should be called shimmer, then what we see here is this is the thresholded result, and I can adjust the threshold and see what impact it makes. I can adjust the opacity, I can zoom in, I can zoom out, I can adjust the resolution at which the threshold is applied, and I can adjust the level of smoothing before the threshold is applied as well if I need to. But more usefully, perhaps, is I can select any region, and if I go under the annotations tab, you'll see that I will immediately get the shimmer area, so the above threshold area for any region that I draw. And if I switch to say above is positive and below is negative, then QuPath will also then give me the proportions of each. And so only give me the area whenever I said just to ignore everything below the threshold, but I give it an actual classification, then I will get the proportions of the different classes as I annotate any region. And I can see how these change as I make changes to the parameters. And so this allows me to see just how sensitive the results that I get are according to the parameters that I choose. What I can also do is I can apply the threshold at a really high resolution, but that can take a very long time to apply across the image. So I can say that I want it to only apply it to the annotations, and that will save a bit of time. And so it will sometimes classify a little bit more than you might expect it to, but it will focus upon the areas where something has been drawn at some point, and it will use that then in order to be able to give you a result in a slightly more reasonable time frame than it would be otherwise. But if I say everywhere, it will apply it across everywhere in the image. But most of the time you can hopefully apply your threshold at a low enough resolution that you don't have to use either of those options. And then having done that, what you should do is save your threshold again. And depending upon what you want the outcome to be, you could convert this red region into annotations for later work, or you can just press the measure button and that will fix these measurements that we've got here. So I will just allow it the positive threshold as the measurement name. I will press OK. You see we have our live measurements, but we also have the fixed versions, and so whenever I close this window, the fixed ones remain. And so the measure button is what has given me the measurements in the area that I have just thresholded.